It's taken years to put this farm together, and I will tell you, in the last decade, I've never seen everything look so green, so lush, and so good. We're going to take you guys along and show you different aspects of the farm and what we hope to accomplish this week. This is the first time on the farm since shed season, so we're making our punch list of what we have to accomplish this week. We have some planting projects, some habitat projects, we got to mow some clover, we got to spray some areas, but the first thing we have to do is take a farm tour. So we're going to go in, we're going to go build our backhoe electric bike. We're going to take you guys along and show you different aspects of the farm and what we hope to accomplish this week. This is my favorite time of year. Everything we do now determines our success for the rest of the season. And one thing I've always said, that every time you step foot on your property, you create this ripple effect. It's like throwing a rock into a pond. The wildlife starts to understand what you're doing and they start to pattern you. So the best way to get around the property is on electric bike. This one is by backhoe. I've been an advocate of electric bikes for a lot of years, and I have not had an opportunity to ride a backhoe yet. I've heard a lot about them through Lee and Tiffany. They said this is the way to go, and of course technology has changed quite a bit, so I decided to make the investment in a brand new bike this year. So we're going to assemble it, and we're going to take a big farm tour to see what we have to accomplish here in the next week. Well, it took about 15 minutes to assemble the backhoe. It wasn't tough. Front wheel goes on, handlebars go on, the pedals go on, and then we just had to tighten up the kickstand right there. This is a 1,000-watt bike, goes 65 miles, so excited to get it onto the farm right now, give it its maiden voyage, and I'll let you know how smooth it rides. This has been an epic year for rain. The last few years, we've definitely been in a heavy drought situation. EHD has plagued the farms, and finally, the farm definitely needed a big reset in a year like this. You can just tell how good the clover looks right now, how just lush and green everything is. This is August. Normally this time of year, everything is brown, everything is dead. We don't even mow the clover. It already looks like by the end of the week, I'm gonna have to touch it up. Ideal growing conditions, but not just for this year. Year 5, mark my words, the fawn's being born this year, or the fawn or the deer you're gonna watch 5 years from now. They have the best head start of any deer crop I've seen in the last decade. So this is what you want to grow a healthy deer herd. Right here, this new tissue growth. This is foundation clover by Big Time. It's all over the farm. Most of the edges of our field, we plant in clover, not only from a transition strip, but it gives you 9-10 months of good, nutritious food. The key though is to keep it mowed. On a year like this, when it rains a lot, you can cut it almost every 10 days. You know, typically it'll go dormant during the summer months when you don't have a lot of rain, but this year it has been absolutely epic. These warm season grasses, there's actually trees in there. We planted these, I think we're going on year 5 right now. So a couple years ago, I killed a buck named Rover. This is why we planted all this habitat down here. This used to be a 12-acre ag field. So we came in here, we first planted our grasses, then we burned them off, then we came in and we planted 10,000 trees. So clustered, and all of this grass that goes all the way to the west here are just trees and trees and trees in pods. So as they grow up, they're gonna shade out the grass. You're gonna have these little pockets, and it leads these deer through these transitions up through the hardwoods and then into the ag field, which is where I killed Rover. Just an ideal setup, but it takes commitment. It takes years to build these ecosystems, but when you do, you definitely can grow bigger deer, hold more deer on your property, and ultimately control where they go. Mother Nature has blessed us this year. Look at the height of these beans right now. Just oceans and oceans of beans. So 40 pounds of soybeans. If a deer eats 40 pounds of vegetation, it will increase their antler size by 1 inch. So this is why the Midwest whitetails typically grow bigger in bodies and antler size. Now these beans over here were planted about a month later. So the idea is these beans will turn yellow, they'll be harvested. These beans will still be green over here, so we'll have early season opportunity to hunt them right around the 1st of October. And then we'll have plenty of forage here late season. And this is just a nice hidey hole. We call this the bowl. So this drops off into about 5 different fingers. It drops off into that big bottom we showed you earlier with all that grass and all that habitat. So that way we can leave grain here, which will be on the south side of the bowl. And then we can have grain on the north side of the bowl without actually having to go into the habitat. But the key to growing these big whitetails, definitely soybeans. On a wet year like this, no telling how big they're gonna grow. Look at all this vegetation. Unbelievable. You don't think a deer can hide out in here? They lay down, there's no way you're even gonna see them bedded down, not even the tips of their antlers. Even standing up, you're only gonna see the tips. Most of these pods in here have 3 beans to a pod. Maybe a killer yield this year. So the #1 deer on the hit list this year is Rip, 7.5-year-old deer. He's a son of Triple Brow. So this is his core territory. So every year when you set your farm up, we try to set it up for one specific deer. And we really believe, Rob and I do, that it's all about the edge. So we have corn behind us, which is to the north. We have beans. Now these beans, we're gonna harvest at the edge of that pinch there. So all of that will be harvested here, probably just a little bit after Labor Day. And then all of this corn we can utilize throughout the late season. Then on the other side of this corn, we have clover and alfalfa. So everything that Rip needs is right here. But you can just see, this gives you a good visual. See this tunnel effect right here? So if Rip wants to go run does, what's he gonna do? He's gonna follow the edge of this corn. He's gonna go through this little pass through right here. He's gonna wrap around these beans because we purposely created an edge. And we have our Novik stand in this tree over here. We've got another stand over there. And then what we'll do is we can either put a grizzly in this corn or we can put the grizzly in the beans later in the season. So this gives us an opportunity from October 1 to the end of the season in mid-January to hunt him just in this one ecosystem that we've created. And we've mapped it out, we've planted it, we've cared for it, and it really, we were blessed with the rains. It came up perfect. But if I were to guess, this is one of the primary places we're gonna intercept Rip. He's gonna follow this edge of the corn, he's gonna go right through this gap, right on the edge of the beans, looking for girls, and we got him. So this setup right here is something that was uniquely designed for a buck that we called Hammer. And I'm hoping that Sydney can get on him, you know, fairly early this year, but if she has to, she can come back later in the season. So this normally is all planted in ag. So instead of planting all this in ag, we wanted to close the buck down for bow hunting. She wants to kill this deer with a vertical bow. So by planting the border line here, it creates an impenetrable border on the back side of this blind. So we could take the loppers, create a path, walk into the back of the blind, not be seen by any deer in here. In the same way you can exit. The other thing is it creates a smaller environment for them to come out. So no matter what the wood line is, they can come into here. We can also have better flexibility in our wind location. And then you're gonna see where we killed all this grass over here. So that's gonna become main event. You have your grain, and you have your green, and you have your brassica. So we have a clover border, we have our standing beans, and then we're gonna have a big time main event. And again, it's all boxed in by the borderline and the grizzly. So ideal setup, especially for a bow hunter. This is Rip's core area. One of the advantages of hunting a deer that's 7.5 years old is the history of your trail camera. So we started tracking him since probably 3, 4, 5, so 4 years right now of intel. And every year he hits this camera in velvet. Now this is the new Reconyx Hyperfire 4K. So it's native 4K video, 8 megapixel pictures. So we're gonna get some incredible content of him It'd be really interesting to see what he looks like this year. So last year, he's just like his dad. He had double split 2s. He was bumping a little 5. Kind of short main beam, decent mass, kind of framey. But you never know year to year with all this moisture what he's going to look like. But my guess is by the end of the week, we're going to have him on camera. He typically just comes walking down this trail, or he goes back this way. He beds and all this thick stuff here. So all of this we've done habitat management in. We've come in with the veil, we've done some selective tree cutting, we've done some selective logging, and obviously we keep these road systems open, not only to access the property, but also to create these travel corridors. These deer are lazy, they follow the edge, and because we stay out of this area, except for checking cameras or driving a tractor through, there's no doubt he'll walk through during daylight. This field is one of our best late season fields. We've got standing corn here, we've got beans, although we sacrifice the beans during the summertime to the deer, so we do not fence the beans, we fence the corn to protect that. So we'll come in here, we'll till all this up this week, we'll plant some Big Time's main event. But these deer, they bed all in these ridge tops here, so when they come out, they can see you. So on the edge right behind us, we went and planted borderline to actually screen the edge of the woods. So these deer can lay behind the screen, they can't see us enter the blind, and they now have to poke their head out. So during the rut, they're forced to come out and walk this edge of the corn and travel during the, up these clover trails right here on the edge of the timber. Plus we've got a pond right here. So you've got green, you've got grain, we're gonna plant brassicas there, you've got water, you've got everything that you need here. And now with this new addition of the borderline screening, it's gonna be dynamite late season. So that took about 3 hours to do the complete farm tour here on just this one piece. It's taken years to put this farm together, and I will tell you, in the last decade, I've never seen everything look so green, so lush, and so good. There is just incredible amounts of nutrition both in the field and in the woods right here. We're gonna come in later this week. We have our punch list of projects. I gotta till these beans up here. We sacrifice those to the deer. We're gonna put in Big Time's main event. We have some clover to mow, we have some areas to spray, and of course we have some habitat management. So this is what we do. We love doing it, and this is what sets us up for the success in the fall. So all of our hard effort and sweat equity this week should pay big dividends come October.